0-4!
Welcome to 406 Broncos, and it is not a good day in the Broncos studio here. It's not a good day for any Broncos fan because we are 0-4. And we're going up against the Chargers this week. And it's going to be a tough matchup. And we're looking down the barrel at 0-5.
And guess what?
What?
If we did that, it's never been done before with the Broncos.
We'd be making history as the Broncos.
Yeah, some good old history. We're breaking records 2 years in a row with shitty records.
Now, here's the big issue is we easily could be at least 2-2, considering two of our games have come off game-winning field goals after we clutch.
Roughing the passer.
Yeah, that's part of both of these games. And we went down the field and scored in both those games, but then allowed them to come back and score the game-winning field goal. Now, real quick before we get into the matchup with the Chargers, let's just take a moment and talk about the state of our team, because I've seen a lot. I've seen a lot of things. Should we fire Fangio? Should we fire... Well, you know what I mean? Should we fire Fangio? Should we fire Elway? Should we start trading people? What should we do? And why are we so bad? Why are we 0-4? Let's start with that. Why are we 0-4? Here's my problem with this question. There's really no answer. Joe Flacco has been playing pretty good. Run game has been pretty good. I actually really like the offense that we're running. I like Rich Scangarello's offense.
Okay.
The defense, now that's a problem. You know, we've had some issues. You can't really blame special teams because this new kick returner we've had is pretty good. And McManus hasn't done anything too bad. Defensively, I don't think we've done so bad. It's at the end of the games that the defense is starting to just give up. And even in the last game, we had 5 sacks. We had 0 sacks coming into that game. 5 sacks. Huge day for the defense. No turnovers again, which is an issue. And I think the biggest issue on defense has been depth. We don't really have depth. And we've had some guys step up, like Devontae Bosby. He's done a really good job. By the way, as if we don't already know, biggest news of the week would be Bradley Chubb out for the season. Big loss. Next man up, Malik Reed's the guy. I think Malik Reed's going to be the guy to come into that spot and tear it up. He was a great asset, great find in the offseason. But again, depth is an issue. And I think that's where the problem lies. Coaching, people have been blaming coaching. I don't really think coaching's been an issue.
No. Going back on what you were saying with you actually liking the offense. I like the offense too. It's a lot better.
Oh, God.
A lot better for the last 2 years we've been watching the Broncos. But my biggest thing with it is that either they start out great, start out hot, and then or they have to play catch up. And then they're good at both of those. But that we're ahead, we dud out, we don't do anything. That is my biggest issue. I wish they'd play like they're always behind, like they have to do at fourth quarter. Yeah. They play the fourth quarter good because they have to play catch up. They have to get it going. And that's bugging me that they do that almost every time.
Well, in this last game, the offense didn't really do much, and the defense kind of just let the Jaguars come back. Jaguars had time of possession
that's
mad.
What I'm saying though, that 17-3, or was it 14-3?
At halftime?
Yeah,
it was 17-6 at halftime.
Okay, 17-6. At that moment in time when the offense does get it, just play like you're behind. Just keep going what you're doing. Because you start playing conservatively, and then they come back. I know the defense didn't help this situation because obviously they came back, but they're not getting anything done.
Their production isn't as
the production
good.
Once they're ahead is crap, and that bugs the crap out of me.
Yeah,
it's either if the score is even or if they're behind and they play like lights out.
Yeah, it's hard to say because I don't think Fangio is a problem. I like his leadership. I like, he's done fine. If anything, if there's any one thing I would say about Fangio, and I don't want to say this, is maybe he should stop calling the defense. Since obviously defense is the problem, and we know he's a good defensive coordinator, but maybe he just needs to be a head coach and have somebody call the defense, and then he can, focus more on the head coaching the head coaching issues. He can talk to the offense instead of like trying to, do it all. I don't know. That's the only thing I might say about the coaching situation. But let's just crush this right now. Vic Fangio does not deserve to be fired. This is not his fault.
I just want to say that throughout the community of Bronco fans is don't be so quick on the trigger. Like, that's one gripe I have about the Broncos community is they're like, oh, he sucks, get him out of there.
Yeah.
Like, oh my gosh, he just
like
started
that.
four games. Yes.
Or it's the other way around. If they do so good, it's like, oh, he's the greatest of all time.
Yeah, 2 games happen, great stuff happens, and then, yep, this is the best person ever happened. No, it's just we just go way too quick to judge things.
Well, think about the okay. Let's quickly just remember that Vance Joseph got 2 years in Denver. Not to mention, my mind just went blank. But that's another reason why we're having issues is because we're just getting done with 2 years of Vance Joseph. This team doesn't really know how to win properly. We've had 2 losing seasons in a row. You got to change the whole, everything in the locker room. Everything that they learned from Vance Joseph, Fangio's trying to weed that out, and that's a task, And so Fangio easily deserves 2 years. With if Vance Joseph can get 2 years, then Fangio deserves it. Not to mention, we still owe Vance Joseph for the year that he was supposed to be coaching this year, and we cut him. We're not going to do the same with Fangio, where we owe him money. Like, they're not just going to sign him to a 3-year deal, or what I think it was a 4-year deal that we signed Fangio for, and just cut him right away. Yeah, right. It's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. Now, let's talk about Elway, because that's something that could happen. I'm not saying I don't know that it will. I think Joe Ellis and Elway and all those guys are pretty tight. So I don't think that's going to happen. However, if we keep losing, eventually, Joe Ellis and those guys are going to have to do something. And it's not going to be the coaching staff because they're just getting started. And there's nothing you can really, what are you going to do? Fire the defensive coordinator? Oh, wait, that's the head coach. What are you going to do? Fire the offensive coordinator? Oh, wait, he's actually been pretty good.
Yeah.
No, we're not going to make coaching changes. The GM's the only next logical thing. But really, what is firing the GM going to do for our season? Nothing. If he's going to get fired, it's going to be at the end of the season. And it would be based on what our record is and how our draft picks that he's had turn out this year. So I don't really know. What's your thought on John Elway?
If anything, he's evening out the playing board now. His scale is up. The guy got Super Bowl 50.
Yeah.
He does know what he's doing in a sense, but there is a long line of bad decisions now. And I say that's kind of evening the scale because, it's hard to fire a guy who's pretty much brought the team in for 1 Super Bowl, and it's been kind of downhill from there. Obviously, I think the Peyton Manning. These are the things that kind of just turned a little bit of the tide of the team. Is Peyton Manning leading? That was a coach on the field. That's going to happen. Not really anyone below him to really take the reins.
Well, Brock Osweiler ditching out on us was a big...
Kind of, yeah. Who knows? He's kind of dudded out somewhere else. And then Kubiak leaving next year afterwards. And that season was 500 season, 8-8. So that obviously showed that Denver still kind of had it. Then once he left, then the Vance Joseph, that was the bad decision.
That was the ultimate bad decision.
Yeah, that was where the tide has turned, and
Plus, we've had a few first-round draft picks that really dudded out on us, like Bowles and
Bowles was a bad one.
Paxton Lynch.
Paxton Lynch was a bad one. Bradley Chubb, not a bad one.
And Noah Fant so far, I think, has been pretty good.
He's been doing pretty good. Like, he's obviously trying to get the rookie dust off him right now, but he's been doing all right.
I think the gems for John Elway come in the late round and in the undrafted players.
Well, every year he's been drafting, he's getting an A+ draft rating, so
I don't know why people knock him for the draft picks. Dalton Reisner's been great this year.
Courtland Sutton's doing good.
Courtland Sutton's been great. Royce Freeman, Phillip Lindsay.
Dude, Reisner is a great pickup.
Yeah, 100%.
No, I agree. I think the draft picks been really good. Yadam, but Courtland Sutton, Royce Freeman's great. I like the 1-2 punch with him and Lindsay now. Can't even think of any others at the moment.
Draft picks wise?
Yeah.
Well, he drafted Derek Wolfe, and there's been a lot of like older guys that he was a part of drafting. But yeah, no, I think he's had some really good draft picks.
Yeah, all in all, I think it's a lot of this trying to play pickup or catch up with the bad pick of coaching. I cannot believe they even given him a shot on that.
Now, one more thing to address as far as the season goes, and as far as something I've been seeing a lot about, is people talking about, should we be trading Von Miller? The answer is absolutely not. You do not trade your franchise cornerstone, who is a game changer, game wrecker. They were just talking about it in the last game. He might not be getting sacks, but he's opening it up for other people to get pressure. And he's getting double teamed. That's one less guy on another guy.
Yeah, he's always getting double teamed.
So he's a game changer. However, here's one thing I will say. If we continue to, this is all going to be based on the next 4 games. The next 4 games are going to decide this. If we keep losing, if guys like Emmanuel Sanders and Chris Harris Jr., who are worth a lot of money, who we would end up paying a lot of money for, if they're not planning on coming back next year, we might as well trade them and get something for them. I hate saying that because I love both those guys, but if they're not going to be there next year and we're already going to have a losing season, we might as well get some assets for them. If they're, you know what I mean? Like, I would like to sign them. Like, hey, if we're going to sign them, great. No problem with that. But if they're already planning on not being there, trade them to a team that could use them right now, and let's get a second, third round pick for one of them guys. You know,
probably not going to get a second.
I think we could get quite a bit for Chris Harris. Emmanuel probably less. I think Harris is probably worth like a second round pick, and Emmanuel's probably worth like a 4th round pick. So get some assets if we're going to continue losing. If we like go 4-0, or even if we go 3-1 in the next 4 games. I couldn't tell you who our next 4 games are off the top of my head. But if we end up going like 3-1, something in that range, maybe not 2-2, I don't know. That's kind of a gray area. If we have a winning record in the next 4 games, we'll probably keep them for the rest of the season. But, I mean, if we're going to just keep on losing, you might as well just... I wouldn't say trade the farm. Don't trade everybody. Trade your assets that are not going to be here for the long haul. People who have value that...
Shit. Emmanuel Sanders is what? Reaching 34?
Yeah. So you might as well trade these guys to teams that could use them right now, who are like on the cusp of playoff potential but need some help. Trade them to them. They're going to be desperate, and they're going to shell out some dough for that. You know, they're going to shell out some assets. And that's
too bad. That's like 2 spots that we really do need the help, though.
I know. But
I mean, you have a losing record.
But you do not trade Von Miller. He might be the one that's taken up the most cap space. He's a game changer, game wrecker. You keep that guy. He's a leader. Do not trade him. Absolutely
not. He's a front face, man.
Absolutely. You do not trade him. And he's still got another year with us. Like, this is not a contract year for him. He's got 1 more year after this with us on contract. So you keep him. Maybe next year we talk about it if this becomes an issue. But I still say don't ever trade him.
I want him to retire.
Don't ever trade him.
Yeah.
All right.
I would be sad to see a Von Miller in another jersey.
Oh, yeah. So we talked a lot about all that. That's a lot of important stuff that we went over there. We're stretching this out a little bit, but let's talk real quick about the Chargers and this matchup against the Chargers.
I mean, it's always a division game is always a tough game, and it's gonna go down pretty good. Man, I don't know. We're playing really good football with all these teams.
Yeah, we've been within. What'd you say the longest
The Green Bay Packers was an 11-point game against us, so 2 possession. We've been in every game 1 possession.
other than that one?
Other than that one.
And 2 of them came off of a game-winning field goal.
Which, that sucks because I feel like we've always been so lucky just to see that in Denver as Denver doing that.
Yeah.
And now it's just totally turning on them.
And both those were in Denver, too.
Yeah, I know. But, yeah, like saying the Raiders, that was 8 points, so a possession. So, yeah, they've been in the game. There's just this weird lull that they suck at. They are great first and fourth quarter. That in-between stuff is where they need to figure it out.
Yeah, exactly.
And then the ending is the defense needs to clutch. They need to clutch, man. They were 4th and 15, the Bears, and they got the field goal. I could not believe that. 4th and 15.
Another one, too, that happens a lot is we either are behind at halftime and then we start coming back in the second half, or we're up at halftime and then we lose the lead.
Well, that or like there's so much of a lead that we can't even catch up on, even though we're just gaining and gaining and gaining, but it's just too much of a deficit.
Juwan James supposed to be back this week. Questionable. Listed as questionable. Same with
I heard
Kareem Jackson. Yep, he is listed as questionable, but most likely to be back. Injury-wise, who else? Yeah, Chubb's out, and Callahan will be out, of course.
How long does Callahan now have? 3 more weeks?
They said 4 to 6 last week.
Ugh.
He's not going to be back till like
they're
saying mid-November. Which, that's another thing, too. It's like we've been missing out on that corner depth. And so if we do end up losing Chris Harris, I say if you're going to keep anybody between Sanders and Chris Harris, keep Chris Harris. Wide receivers are kind of a dime a dozen. Great cornerbacks are not.
I love Sandy's boys, and he has been killing it.
He really has. He's been doing a good job.
Him and Flacco are 2
hooking
peas
up
in a
good.
pod right now. So Cortland Sutton, they've all been doing pretty good.
And then
I'd say the one is kind of lacking right now is Deshaun Hamilton.
Yeah, he has. And then losing Tim Patrick hasn't helped either. They put him on IR too. Now, I don't know if it's not season-ending IR, but he might come back.
So they're just gonna keep Jake Butt?
He probably won't. He probably won't be coming back.
But are they keeping him right now, or?
Well, he's on IR. He has to be on the team.
Are they? Do you think they'll get rid of him once he's off?
I think so.
I would hope so. Gosh.
But yeah, so.
All right. Well, we should cut this off. We've been talking a lot. I mean, there was a lot to talk about, but.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm staying faithful. I think we all are.
We picked the Broncos.
You gotta stay faithful.
Not getting that record.
That
not
offense,
that bad one.
That offense needs to kick it up. I like what we've been doing with the run pass, all that stuff. Keep it going, but keep it going. Don't fade it out. Don't quit. Don't have a lull like you said. Defensively, stay strong for 4 quarters.
Those last minute throws too. I can't. That's another thing. Did you watch that one touchdown with Minshew just zigzagging up, and they're just all trying? God, it irritated me. Even the secondary couldn't just keep up with the receiver. There's only 10 yards in front of him.
Oh, I know, and that's dumb too. Yeah, once a play starts to develop, and once the quarterback can make time, somebody's gonna be open.
Yeah, but there's 10 yards in front of him. It's not like you have to go deep with him.
I know. Anyway, go Broncos. Let's get it done. See y'all on. Well, no, we're gonna post this on Sunday, so see ya at game time.
Bye.